The Rhode Island Comic Con!
Welcome to the 2018 Rhode Island Comic Con in Providence, Rhode Island. My name is David Ciccariella, where we're going to talk to celebrity guests, cosplayers, and see a lot more. I'm now with Billy Zane, and how are you enjoying the Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm enjoying it immensely. Thank you so much.
And you're meeting all these fans.
Yeah, as you just saw, they were so lovely and personable. It's like live analytics, you know. It's always nice to get a sense of what people like and respond to, which we don't really get a chance to do for the most part.
But you were absolutely fantastic in The Phantom.
Oh, thank you. He's a great character, my favorite.
What was one of your most memorable moments working on that film?
Meeting Lee Falk when he came and visited set and down in Australia. We were like getting more than his blessing. He was really, you know, I really prided myself on studying the comic and the physicality of the character, his silhouette, right? So the economy of his movement and the nature of his, you know, how to make those positions, you know, be very naturalistic was a great challenge. So I treated it like almost like it was choreography or some degree of dance or something. And he was very pleased that I was putting such attention to those unique details. And I've heard that from the fans as well, who really, you know, love the comic and love the character, that we were, you know, so true to the spirit of it. As he was a product of the times, in contrast to maybe some of the very self-aware, more modern anti-heroes and heroes that we have on some of the films today. His kind of wholesome white hat heroics, which to some may seem corny, are really the cornerstone of what made that character, I think, so unique and inspiring for at least everyone who seems to love it. They all respond to that kind of purity of heart.
What would you do in the sequel?
In a sequel, I think it's a family business, so it's a logical handoff from father to son, preparing the next generation to take over, segueing into retirement, perhaps not getting to entirely, because, you know, inevitably the kids are going to need some help, you know, so it's ripe for all of these interactions. So that would be a lot of fun if there were such a thing.
They don't call him the ghost who walks for nothing.
That's quite right. Have you seen him dance? I'm telling you.
Can you talk a little bit about your art?
I guess it was on Titanic, really. We had like 7 months in Mexico, a lot of downtime. I found myself going a little deeper into abstract expressionism and what they call action painting, kind of large canvas on the floor, and I turned a garage in the hacienda, we shot it in Mexico, into a studio. And I was inspired by the work of Basquiat and Pollock, physical, improvisational work, and I did it for myself, and I suddenly found I had a show when my sister invited a gallerist over. So very fortunate and pleased to have exhibited in Milan and in England and Budapest and Art Basel in Miami, and people like it. They buy it, and it's all you can ask for is be considered legitimate in an expression that you love. Go to billyzaneart.com, check it out.
Did you talk about appearing on Psych?
Oh, at last I could finally do an episode. They've asked for seasons, and it was always just bad timing. And I was so thrilled in the weird meme kind of gag, ongoing running joke of, you know, getting me on there. And I literally under radar got in at the season or series finale. It was so, yes, I love those boys and that show. I'm a huge fan and was.
And finally, what are you currently working on?
I just wrapped the first season of a really wonderful and exciting and funny and cool series called Curfew for Sky One in England. We shot in Manchester. It's a near future dystopian illegal racing There's some creatures and little zombie action. There's wicked gunplay and crazy road chases. It makes it look like a movie from the 70s, like dropping into a John Carpenter movie. And then there's this whole element of like Hunter Thompson, madcap, 60s, drug-fueled craziness, like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. So there's absurd comedy, genuine kind of, spooky horror, social commentary, and action.
I'm now with Lex Luthor, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm enjoying it very much. It's a great opportunity to campaign for the presidency.
Who the hell are you, man?
I'm Lex Luthor. Who the hell are you?
I think we all know who the real Lex Luthor is, my friend.
I see the one with no hair. I see you have a hat on.
Why are they shooting you from profile and me straight on, bro?
Well, maybe we should change that and make me profile. And
What do you got this green here for, bro?
you know what that's for.
Hey, it's my man Lex right here.
What's this?
Hey, it's a green kryptonite, Tom.
This must be yours. How's it going?
Good. Are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con, Tom?
I love it here. You know what? There's nothing like New Hampshire.
Wait, what?
What?
Hey,
I love it here. Going to
Michael, is that made out of kryptonite?
No, it isn't. It's made out of turd. Now we're going to the Patriots-Packers tonight.
Yeah, let's go. Pats.
Can I come?
Yes.
Sure, but we got a
Meet
box
us outside
seat.
in about 20 minutes. Just keep waiting.
And you guys so many.
Throwing out the first football.
I'm driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that all your fans come to see you guys and still
Well,
remember?
if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, come on.
It's all about you
Our
guys.
lines were much.
All of these people. All of these
Our
people.
lines were much bigger yesterday. It's Sunday. It's dragging down. Don't think that
I
there
know.
aren't. But look at these great people. Give it up.
What happens?
everybody.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Still here on a Sunday. I love
Rhode Island.
What?
Lord's
Rhode
Day.
Island.
What do you mean?
It's the Rhode Island Comic Con.
Oh, great.
Here, give
This
me
is
that.
fun.
I don't feel comfortable with you around this. Aren't you supposed to get sick when you hold that?
I'm now with Laura Vandervoort, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
It's been great. This is my first day, so the fans have been awesome and everyone's really friendly, and it's been busy, so I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow.
I was a huge fan of Smallville, watched for all 10 years, and you were, of course, Supergirl. How is it being reunited with Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum at Comic Cons?
It's great. We just started doing them together recently. We were in Paris, but I keep in touch with them, especially Tom. So and I still see Kristen Crook. I mean, we all sort of still keep in contact, but it is nice to come meet the fans with them as well.
Now, when you were cast as Supergirl, did you do a lot of research reading the comics to be more familiar?
Not particularly. I did my research on her history when she was in suspended animation and all of that, just so I had an understanding, because when I auditioned, I didn't know she was his cousin. I actually didn't know there was a Supergirl. So I just did the background, the history version of what I needed to know for the show.
You came back as a version of Brainiac, Indigo, in Supergirl. How great was that? And also, how long did it take you to get in that costume?
It was awesome. Well, the costume itself, the makeup was about 3 hours, I think. But playing a villain is always more fun than playing just a superhero. Not that there's anything wrong with a superhero, but villains just give you more room to play.
And is it interesting to see somebody else playing Supergirl?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think Supergirl, I always thought she needed a show for herself, and we didn't have enough of that on television with females leading the way. So I'm glad we finally do.
And finally, what are you currently working on?
I just wrapped a new Netflix series called V-Wars. It'll be on next year with Ian Somerhalder, so that's exciting.
I'm now with Lennon, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Good.
Good. And who are you dressed up as?
Captain America.
Captain America, cool. Can I see that shield? Now, that's awesome. Ow, that hurt my hand. That's a tough shield. Why did you want to dress like Captain America?
Because it's my favorite costume ever.
I'm now with Katrina Law, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I love it. It's great being back. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Last season you came back on Arrow. Do you think we'll see you again?
Well, my character's not dead, so possibly. But even if she were dead, it's a comic book, so they always come back, don't they? So I'm just going to say maybe.
And did you like getting closer to Thea.
I love working with Willa. Willa's amazing. So getting to work with her any day of the week is a good time. So just sharing screen time is even better.
Last time we spoke, you didn't have your big battle with Talia. And how was that to film?
So much fun. It's one of those scenes that fans and I have been anticipating for a really long time, and talking to Mark Guggenheim, who was the showrunner at the time, was just like, how do we work this out? How do we make it happen? And then when it finally did, so much fun. So yeah, it was good.
Now, you worked with the late, great Bill Paxton on Training Day. What did Bill teach you while you were working with him?
I think he just kind of reinforced that show up to set every single day happy, say hello to the crew, be nice to your coworkers, be a good person, appreciate what you do. So I think it was just a reinforcement of all that stuff, and seeing how wonderful his career was and is, and what a wonderful human being he was and is he's a good role model.
And what are you currently working on?
Currently, I am on hiatus from The Oath, but we just finished up season 2, and that's coming out in March on Sony Crackle. So look out for that.
And I have to say, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Very excited.
You have a little bun in the oven.
I do. This isn't a burrito. This is an actual human. So.
I'm now with Emma Dumont, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I love it. I've never been to Rhode Island before, but it's so awesome. There's so many cool costumes, such like interesting and handmade costumes, which I'm all about. Everyone's super friendly, and it's been great.
Now, you play Polaris in The Gifted. Did you do a lot of research to play Polaris?
Oh, I did all the research. Oh, every X-Men, X-Factor, the new X-Men Blues. I've seen it all. I've read it all. There was a lot that went into it, because you got to know there's so many different iterations of these characters, so many different, timelines and stories and different things that happens to them, and I wanted to do right by Lorna. So.
And what character from the X-Men universe would you like to see on The Gifted?
Magneto. My dad.
What else can other people see you in?
I'm in a web series called Tagged, which is more for like a younger audience. I play a high school student, and it's about like the dangers of social media and online bullying. And then I'm getting ready to film another comic film called Razor, that's based on the Razor comic, which I'm really excited about. It's a similar character, but much darker.
I'm now with two Cylons from Battlestar Galactica. I'm so intimidated right now. I'm not gonna... You guys are robots. Just nod your head. Are you a robot? They look like they're friendly today. You guys are friendly, right? well, they're iffy. One says no, one says iffy. Well, guys, thank you so much for kind of speaking to me here at Rhode Island Comic Con. Extermination. I'm now with Jenna Elfman, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Well, I'm really enjoying myself. This is day one, and it's always fun to meet so many enthusiastic people. It's cool.
And it's amazing that you're now on Fear the Walking Dead. How was that experience?
It's been incredibly fulfilling. I love the work we're doing. I love the actors. I love the love story, and the fandom's been very fun. I just love everything about it.
Was it fun when Morgan from The Walking Dead joined Fear?
Quite an honor to work with Lenny James. He's brilliant. Every time we're in a scene together, it's like he just emanates such humanity, and it's so intense, and it's such an honor to be sharing the same space with him and acting with him. I just love our scenes together so much.
Andrew Lincoln's leaving The Walking Dead. Now that you're part of this franchise, what do you think Rick Grimes' character meant to The Walking Dead?
Oh my God. He's, that's the foundation. That's the first character we meet. Then we meet Morgan. So it's kind of cool. I think, he's a huge orientation point for survival. The full rounded definition of what survival means in all of its forms. And I think, he's the spearhead of that story. He defined humanity and survival for everybody.
How was it working alongside iconic characters of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, of Looney Tunes back in action?
Yeah, that was kind of cool, actually, because to do physical comedy with something that actually isn't there till later, that was a great challenge, and I learned a lot, actually, and working with Brendan Fraser and Joe Dante. We love Joe Dante, don't we? He's great. Yeah, that was fun. It's fun, to have these moments where you're part of something that so many people are committed to. There's like so many fans of Looney Tunes, and yeah, it's very cool.
And now I'm with Stephen Ogg, and how are you enjoying
that big grin?
Rhode Island Comic Con? How are you enjoying it?
How am I enjoying it? Great. All these things are great. Look what we get to do.
And how did you overall enjoy your experience on The Walking Dead?
Wonderful. I mean, I don't think you're going to ever get anything out of someone saying anything negative. It's a great group of people. We're all friends. We all hang out. Crew's great. It's just, it kind of probably gets boring for people to hear, but we all say the same thing. So lucky, so fortunate, so blessed, because it's true. It's a great set.
You were one of Negan's #1 henchmen for the Saviors. How did you and Jeffrey Dean Morgan create such great chemistry?
I don't know if you can create chemistry. I think you have it or you don't. And I think that probably has everything to do with the openness of the actor. Like Xander Berkeley played Gregory. We had chemistry, I think, because we just had similar approaches to the work and to the material. And I don't think, like Jeffrey and I don't think we created chemistry. You have it or you don't. I think it's tough to create chemistry.
Did you like your character's demise?
Yeah. Got to be a zombie. Pretty cool, right? If you're going to die big. Die big or go home.
And what do you think of Andrew Lincoln leaving The Walking Dead?
So relieved. I mean, Andrew's been #1, and he'll always be #1, and he's done an amazing job with that show. And he's been on it for a long time, right? You got to do other stuff too. So
finally, Stephen, what are you currently working on?
Currently shooting a show called Snowpiercer, but it is essentially about the apocalypse when it happens, and 1,001 trains, and everyone is on this train circling. It's very cool. Very excited. Comes out next summer. So we're shooting that, and that's TNT in America and Netflix around the world. And The Tick, season 2 of The Tick.
Who do you play?
I play a superhero, and I think it's coming out in January. I don't know, but it was nice to do in New York just a half-hour sitcom and get to wear what I got to wear, which is very cute, and just have some fun. And that was something totally different to do the half-hour sitcom thing. So that's on Amazon, The Tick, season 2, whenever that comes out. And then Snowpiercer is next summer at some point.
I'm now standing with
Taronda.
And
Garrosh Hellscream.
And what are you guys from?
World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft. Wow. And what race are you?
I'm a night elf.
A night elf. So there's a difference between a day elf and a night elf.
I guess you could say that.
Oh, interesting. So all night elves have pink skin.
Yeah, they kind of have like a pinkish, purple, darker skin.
And what are you holding here?
It's my bow. Shoot some arrows,
Shoot some arrows. No arrows today, though.
No arrows today.
Keeping it safe at Comic-Con. And what species are you?
I'm an orc.
He's an orc. Wow. And that's the armor you have around you?
Yes. Yep. Strong.
Awesome. And what's this flag here?
This is the Horde flag. This is the symbol here for all of the Horde.
I'm now with Tom Payne, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Loving it so far. Like, what is it, the biggest con in the smallest state? It's been awesome. It's my first time in Rhode Island. I drove down here from Boston, which is like 45 minutes yesterday, and then in a couple days I'm driving down to Manhattan. I had no idea that everything on this side of the country was so close together. So it's great, and I'm looking forward to meeting fans from all around the area.
For people who don't know, you're Jesus on The Walking Dead.
Yes, I played Jesus on that television show, The Walking Dead, that some people like to watch.
We all know Rick's leaving the show. What do you feel Andrew and Rick's legacy will be on Walking Dead?
Andrew Lincoln is like in the fabric of the show. Like Rick is the show, but the show is about loss and moving on from loss, and this is just a bigger loss than other people. But Andy will always live within the show, and we all carry on his legacy.
What was your favorite part about doing research for that character?
The martial arts. I learned to do martial arts, which was super fun, and now I feel like I can kick a bit of ass, which is great.
Other than Andrew Lincoln, what's one of your favorite actors to work with on The Walking Dead?
I had a great time last season working with Lenny James, who plays Morgan. We had that big fight together, and I couldn't have wished for a better scene partner, and He's a great actor, but also he knows exactly how to use that stick as well and get involved in the fighting. So it was really fun for both of us to just go, hey, why don't we do this and why don't we do that? And it just clicked into place, and it was really fun, but it was exhausting.
Sadly, Scott Wilson recently passed away. I know you weren't on the show with him. What do you think he and Herschel's legacy will be to The Walking Dead?
Well, I still saw Scott at many conventions, and so became friendly with him over that time, over the whole time I've been on the show, and it's a great loss to the community and the show, like everyone who's been on the show, but also everyone who comes to these conventions. And if there was a patriarch to the show, it's Andrew Lincoln, but above Andrew Lincoln, it's Scott Wilson, because he was a patriarch to all of the actors on the show and the acting community. He's a legend, and so it's a big loss, but he's going to be appearing this season in the show. Kind of amazing that worked out and that got to spend a little bit more time with him before he moved on. So we'll miss him. He is another person who will live in the history of the show forever, so that's great.
Why do you think Walking Dead gets more and more popular with each year and the importance of the show?
Because I think Walking Dead is about life. Walking Dead is about people banding together in times of distress and loss. And that's something that we all have to do. And the loss of Andy is like a huge, loss for the show, but we all lose our mums and dads at the end of the day, and this is losing our dad in the show, but it's something that happens to everyone, and we have to move on from that. And so we will move on from that in the show, and that's what the show is about, and that's, I think, what people identify with is it's about life and what we all go through.
Now I'm with
Johnny Ortiz.
And who are you dressed as today?
Captain Kirk, the man, the one and only, from the original series.
The best character.
Kirk was the man. You can't beat Kirk.
And he fought the Gorn.
He sure did. Nobody messed with Kirk. Original series was the best.
Yeah, what's this?
It's a phaser.
Careful where you point that thing. You might destroy the cameraman.
You never know when you run into a Klingon.
Do you see a lot of Klingons around the Comic-Con?
Strangely enough, no. I have not yet to run into a Klingon, which is a good thing. I'm here for some R&R.
And how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic-Con?
It's the best. I'm here with my family. We have a good time. We get to mingle with the celebrities, and we get to meet people like you who do a good job with your coverage of the con. Awesome job.
I'm now with Jeremy Palko, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic-Con?
Oh, I love Rhode Island Comic-Con. Third time here, so I just got asked, what does Rhode Island Comic-Con mean to me? And I'm like, it's fall. Like, that's like when you could start, putting on the jackets and enjoying the weather, so having a good time so far.
You were on The Walking Dead, now you're watching as a fan. How's that experience been?
It's nice, like I keep in touch with people on social media, and I understand, Andrew Lincoln's last episode.
So there's a great picture of you and Andrew.
This was us a little behind the scenes on our 100th episode of Season 8. That was very nice. You can see the champagne glass because we had a nice champagne toast.
What do you think will happen to the show after he leaves?
I think it's going to continue to do well. I mean, the supporting cast and characters around him, they're putting a lot of emphasis on different characters now to, progress the story. And the fan base is what's going to keep it going anyways. And, Fear the Walking Dead is doing really well. So I imagine they're going to be all right.
I'm with Nestor Carbonell, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic-Con?
David, I'm having a blast. We got in late last night, but we're here. We're thrilled to be here. It's been a long time since I've been in Rhode Island, so I'm thrilled to be back.
You've been part of so many pop culture TV shows. One of the first things I saw you in was the live-action Tick. How was that experience?
I have been very lucky. Yes, I've been very blessed to have been a part of those shows. The Tick was way ahead of its time. As you can see, it's come back. And now it's a hit, and I think we were a little ahead of our time. That was an extraordinary experience. I mean, we had, with Patrick Warburton as a Tick, with Ben Edlund, who, created the Tick, the cartoon and the comic book, and I got to play this character, Batman Noir, which is a version of Der Fledermaus. I think they couldn't get the rights to Der Fledermaus, so they created some other character. But no, that was a gift. That show was a gift. It was short-lived. We only did 9 episodes, but I love going to work every day on that job.
Well, we hope you show up in the new Tick. You also were the voice of Senor, Senior, Junior on Kim Possible. How was that? And working with Ricardo Montalban.
It's so funny. Yeah, I had a blast doing that. I never got to meet Ricardo, which I was really bummed. I know we played father and son. He was hysterical. That character, it just sort of, I don't know how that character materialized. I'd worked with Disney before, done a bunch of cartoons for them, and I just went in and sort of found this crazy character. But it was so well written, and the best story I have from that was I had to sing a song because I was an international pop sensation in my mind. And then I got the script. I was like, I had to sing this song. And they wrote the song for me, and I called my agent and said, "Do they know I'm tone deaf? Because and they said they'd let them know, and then they wrote back, perfect, even better. I go, no. So I went in there. So it's on YouTube somewhere, but don't put it on too loud because your glass will crack for sure. It's terrible. I mean, my voice is awful, but the show was so much fun, and the character was a lot of fun to do.
After being part of Bates Motel, do you have an even better appreciation for Psycho?
Oh my God! I mean, I was a huge Hitchcock fan, and which was why I think a lot of us on that show were trepidatious going into it, thinking, my God, this is Hitchcock. What are we going to do to this? But the writing, I mean, Carrie Aaron, who wrote the show, and Carlton Cuse, who's also wrote on the show, I mean, they did a phenomenal job. It's just a beautiful job of finding this, sort of what made Norman and inventing who Norma was. We never saw her, but in a corpse, in the original film, it was just a world that they sort of just they just ran with it. Again, another job I was thrilled to be a part of.
What are you currently working on?
Yeah, so I go back now. I go to work on The Morning Show. It's a show with Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston, Steve Carell, and Billy Crudup. It's a great cast, and it's sort of the behind the scenes of the Today Show, and I play a weatherman. So I'm looking forward to filling those shoes.
Okay, I'm standing with Gamora and Batman, a team up I never thought would happen. How are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
It's absolutely great.
And Batman, I've talked to you before. What's your experience?
It's always a great time here. It's always justice being served.
You just met, behind you is Groot. You just met Groot, or you know Groot.
Yes, he's my family.
And that's amazing. Look at her costume. She's just right. She's from Guardian. You're right, from Guardians of the Galaxy. Did you survive Infinity War?
No, maybe not.
I think you did, because I'm standing right next to you. So,
I'm from a different universe.
You're from a different universe. Okay, you're from Earth 2,
yes.
Where Batman and Gamora hang out.
Yeah, we're best friends.
You're best friends. That's great. Batman,
It's all part of the Guardians of the Gotham Galaxy.
Who are you? I'm now with Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. How does it feel to be back at the Rhode Island Comic Con?
The fans in New England, there's something very unique about them. They treat you like you're part of the family. There's such an intimacy. People come up to the table and like, hey, Kev, it's like I'm the long lost brother or something. So there's a wonderful sense of family here that I love.
Now, you've worked with so many actors while you voiced Batman and still voicing Batman. Was there any actor that you were so surprised that was in the recording booth with you?
Mark Hamill. I mean, when they told me he was going to do the Joker, I said, Luke Skywalker, are you crazy? It just didn't make any sense to me. And then I saw what he did. It's like, oh, Batty. He's like, he went crazy. And to be in the booth with him is a dangerous place, because he's got one of those rubbery faces and he personifies the Joker. So yeah, he really shocked me that he was going to do the Joker.
Now, if you did a play with Mark, what play would you like to do?
Oh, wow. What would be fun to do with Mark would be a musical, because he loves musicals. And I love musicals, so it would be a lot of fun to do one of those.
John Glover voiced the Riddler, and you worked on stage with John.
Oh, yeah. We have a long history together. The first show we did together, I think, was in 1982 at the San Diego Shakespeare Festival. We did Much Ado About Nothing. And then we did a production of King Lear. He did Edgar and I played Edmund, brothers, and He Kills Me. And then we did 2 miniseries together, the Kennedy series and the George Washington miniseries. So, yeah, we've known each other for 40 years. Done a lot of work together.
You're still Batman, Justice League action. How is it taking Batman into more of a lighthearted show?
I love it. I love the fact that they found all this humor in the character, because he's still the same character, and that's what makes it funny, Smells like discipline. I mean, he's in these ridiculous situations, but it's still Batman,
Now, finally, I just have to say, just standing next to you, even though you're just the voice of Batman, I feel that you are Batman. Just your presence alone is the Dark Knight. Would you want to play old Bruce Wayne in a live-action Batman Beyond movie?
Well, when I'm 80. I mean, let's not push things. I'm not that old yet. But it would be fun. You kidding? Hey, Terry. He gets old and cranky, you know. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for being back at the Rhode Island Comic-Con, and thank you for still voicing Batman.
I love doing it, and I love the fans. They're the best. The Batman fans are the best fans.
Now I'm with some of Batman's Rogues Gallery, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, and the Red Hood. How are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic-Con?
It's pretty fun. All smiles from me.
Wow, and Poison Ivy?
It's all right. Yeah.
It's all right. Red Hood?
I can't see anything.
He can't see anything.
It's great.
What was that?
I'm assuming it's great. It seems everyone's having a good time.
Well, from what he can hear, it's a good time.
He's as blind as a Batman.
I'm now with Loren Lester, the voice of Robin and Nightwing in Batman, the animated series, and the Batman New Adventures. How are you enjoying being at the Rhode Island Comic-Con?
This is great. We've just started. We've been here, I think, like 2 hours, and it's phenomenal. We had such huge lines. It's starting to, calm down a little bit, but it was great. And I've never been to this wonderful city, and it's an incredible city. I went all over the place today. It was beautiful.
Could you talk a little bit about the audition process of getting Robin?
Sure. The process was pretty much the same as any other jobs that we auditioned for in those days. Because the show's so iconic, I think people think like, oh, it was some really special kind of... It wasn't like that at all. They brought in a bunch of actors and then whittled it down and whittled it down and whittled it down, and I was the last one to get whittled. Well, I wasn't whittled. Everyone got whittled but me.
Now, did you audition with Kevin?
No. We were all individually... And they cast us at different times. I think they cast Kevin, and I think Kevin was the first one they cast, which would have been smart.
Which actor were you so surprised to see in the recording booth with you?
Every day that we would come in, there would be people from my childhood who I grew up in the movies and TV, Roddy McDowall and Ephraim Zimbalist Jr., all these people I knew from iconic shows as a kid growing up, and every day I was surprised, like, ooh, who do we have today, And a lot of really great character actors like John Vernon and people like that, names that aren't necessarily a big household name, but people you recognize instantly in their work instantly.
Looking back, when you see those episodes, can you take a step back and just enjoy it?
Very much so. Watching it years later, I, of course, hear new things, stuff I don't remember. And now with the Blu-ray coming out, that just came out, can enjoy it all over again in a new way.
And what was the process like transitioning from Robin to Nightwing?
That was great. Toward the end of the first series, Batman the Animated Series, Robin started to do more and more and become more of his own man. So when they introduced Nightwing, they created an actual break. So instead of Robin having a sort of father-son relationship with Batman, now it was a kind of a rival relationship. He learned everything he possibly could from Batman, and now it was time for him to be on his own. So that was a great challenge, and the scripts for Nightwing were the best for me. I loved it.
And you recently came back as Nightwing in Batman and Harley Quinn. What was that feeling like?
It was so great. It was like none of us had ever left. Kevin and me and Bruce Timm. We were all together, and it was like no time had passed.
And I've been so happy to see that in theaters.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because I don't think any of this had ever aired in theaters. I think Mask of the Phantasm did, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't in that. But no, it was fun seeing us on the... We actually had the launch was at San Diego Comic-Con, and we had over 1,000 people there, and hearing the live reaction, especially the laughs, that was great. I'd never experienced that before with this show.
I'm now with Athena Finger, and could you tell everybody who you are?
I'm Athena Finger, the granddaughter of Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman.
They had the documentary. What was the name of the documentary?
It's called Batman and Bill. It's on Hulu. Please check it out. It's a great documentary. It tells all the history about Batman and how Bill had contributed everything that we love and adore about the Bat.
And how amazing was it to see your grandfather's name finally saying Bob Kane with Bill Finger?
Oh, it was a victory for the family. I mean, we have been waiting so long, 76 years, for him to finally get the recognition and the credit that he long overdue was supposed to be given to him. So it was very gratifying and exciting, and we've been celebrating ever since.
Could you tell me some things that Bill contributed to Batman?
Well, I mean, the color scheme, the cowl, the whole Gotham City. He also came up with Bruce Wayne, and he came up with Joker, the Riddler, Penguin, came up with the whole backstory about how his parents were murdered in front of him, the concept of Commissioner Gordon and Alfred and Robin, and how he really, he got tired of writing just for this inner dialogue, which was kind of weird for back in the 40s, unlike it is now. So he's like, come on, he needs a sidekick, come on. So let's do Robin. He also came up with the original Green Lantern. He came up with Wildcat. He wrote for Superman. He wrote for so much and so many different storylines. He really was a huge influence in the comic industry.
Why did you become an artist and not a writer?
Well, I've always gravitated towards the visual art more than the written art. Grew up drawing all the time, doodling and things like that, taking pictures. So I'm more of a visual person than an actual linguist.
And you have amazing art at your table here, including Batmite.
Yes, well, Batmite is actually one of Bill Finger's creations also. So, I wanted to honor a little more other than just the Batman, some of the other characters that he came up with.
Now I'm with
Dave, and I'm with the Gotham City Police car, the Joker's Crown Vic.
Well, who are you with?
I'm here with Robin and Harley Quinn.
Are you here to stop Harley?
Yeah.
Well, right now, it looks like you guys are getting along pretty well.
Well, probably, but maybe in the movie we'll keep fighting.
And Harley Quinn, what are you doing here with the car?
I'm hanging out for now, but who knows what happens when they're not looking.
So we have this beautiful car. What happened here?
What the Joker always does. He steals cars and rides around with them, and he just decides to do all this wonderful graffiti all over it.
What do we have in here?
We've got the Joker that's actually in the car. We got him chained, cuffed, and everything, but you know as the Joker is, he's not going to stay in there. But we'll take him to Arkham, and hopefully he'll stay there for a little while.
And this is, my first time into the Joker police car, which is an oxymoron, because why does Joker have a police car? But again, he stole it and did pretty things to it. And like you said, you have the autographs on the dashboard.
A lot of the different actors actually just had Batman and Robin from the animated series came down and they took pictures with the car, so it was really cool.
So much for showing this to me and bringing it to the Rhode Island Comic Con. I feel like I'm the Joker. I'm now with Jason Marsden, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm from here, and so it's nice to work at a gig in your own hometown.
Where would you suggest people to eat?
But I would go get some wieners at Wienerama in Cranston on Oaklawn Avenue. You want lobster, go down to Galilee and go down there, get some lobster down there. That's the cuisine you want to get here. The pancakes and cheddar, lobster, and hot wieners.
One of the first things I saw you in was Erie, Indiana. You played Dash X. How was that experience?
That was one of my favorite experiences as a kid. I was 17, making basically a different movie every week, a little half-hour movie. Worked with some great actors like John Astin, and worked with some great directors, Joe Dante. Loved it.
Now, you were also young Burt Ward Robin in Return of the Batcave. How amazing was it to play Burt Ward?
That was awesome because I'm a big Batman fan. I got a Batman tattoo. I'm the voice of Batman is just right down there. I loved it, and I loved wearing the outfit. I'm playing Burt, but I got to wear the outfit, drive the car, and kind of relive those experiences, and it was a kick. I loved it.
Now, you're best friends with Will Friedle. You guys worked together on many projects. What was one of your favorite that you've worked with Will on?
Probably Boy Meets World. That's where we really solidified our friendship, and even when I wasn't in episodes, I would come and hang out anyway, and it was a good time.
And what are you currently working on?
Currently, I'm doing season 3 of Young Justice, celebrating the Hocus Pocus 25th anniversary, where I voiced Thackeray Binks, protecting all the virgins in all the world from the wicked Sanderson sisters. And I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I work with musicians, and I'm developing a show called the Mars Variety Show, which is currently in development.
Now I'm standing with
Raven.
And
a Crusader.
Raven and Crusader, and how are you guys enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
It's all right.
I suppose.
Tara Strong is here, the voice of you. Has she seen you?
No, not yet.
I think she'll love it.
Maybe.
I got a little smile out of Raven. That was good. Now, what is one of your iconic phrases that you say?
Azarath Metrion Zinthos.
I'm now with voiceover legend John DiMaggio. How are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Legend, he says. Voiceover legend. That's deep, yo. I'm telling you. First of all, thank you for the huge compliment. Secondly, having a blast here, endorsing your product right there. No, having a great time up here in Providence. It's awesome. We're going to go out drinking later and go to Cumbie Farms and end up getting subs.
You're Bender from Futurama.
Bender from Futurama. He's the lovable scamp. He's always having a good time. He's crazy. I like stealing. I like taking things.
How'd you create that voice?
It was a couple of different voices thrown together. It was Slim Pickens from Blazing Saddles. It was every drunk at the end of a bar in the Northeast. My friend Ralph Colombino from college did a guy named Charlie the Sausage Lover in college, and I used to make him do it, and I'd do it back to him, and he'd do it back to me, and that kind of sounds funny if you say that Charlie the Sausage Guy, we were doing it to each other. That wasn't really the case. What we were doing was I was doing an impression of what he was doing, which was, Charlie Sausage Guy, sausages for the whole, you get all kinds of sausages. Germans have worse kind of sausages. The Italians, they have a supersada. You can have a dry supersada, you get a sweet supersada. So we would just sit there and just list off different kinds of encased meats, and it was very funny. You keep messing around with it, and you keep playing with it, and you throw them in a blender together, and then you get Bender.
You were the voice of the Joker in Batman Under the Red Hood. Your Joker was very dark. What was the influence for Joker?
That Joker was kind of a fun thing to do because it was against the grain. It was a PG-13 version, so it was it was a little darker. In fact, it was a lot darker than most Jokers you usually see. So I had the chance to just take it and run with that ball and see where it went. Brandon Vietti did a great job with that project, and Andrea Romano was the voice director, and she was fantastic, and getting to work with her was great. And it's just, you just play the ball where it lies, and when you have material like that, it's kind of easy to connect to the character. It's right there in front of you on the page.
And then, of course, Aquaman, Batman Brave and the Bold.
Outrageous ahoy, my friend. Yes, it was. That was a fun gig to do, to get to play with, once again, Andre Romano and my good friend Diedrich Bader and a whole bunch of other people that were filling in the blanks of all the amazing superheroes and villains that came out of the woodwork on that show. But it's interesting because it was down to me and Diedrich for the role of Batman. Diedrich got it, and as a consolation prize, I got Aquaman, which was kind of really cool because it turned out to be this, like the second favorite character on the show, which was kind of fun. In this business, give it your best shot, and whatever happens, happens. And you get to do stuff like that. You get to play second banana to Batman, and also control 70% of the world because it's water.
And you got to meet Scooby-Doo years later.
That and getting to meet Scooby-Doo. I've worked with Frank Welker for many, many, many years, and he's just such a fantastic, wonderful, giving, kind performer and actor, and he's been around the block, and he's just so cool. And the guy sounds like he sounds when he first started doing the role, of Freddy, and then he picked up Scooby-Doo along the way. He's just the best. And he was Nibbler on Futurama. He's unbelievable.
You did an awesome documentary called I Know That Voice.
Thank you very much.
Can you talk about...
Available on iTunes. The link is on my Twitter page, @TheJohnDiMaggio. It's fortunate because it's the only one of its kind, and we got just about everybody.
Well, you got June Foray.
We did get June. That was something. We got her last interview before she passed away, and we're very fortunate that we, had that opportunity. She worked till the end. She was a powerhouse, and she was always really cool. And June was June, man. She was a pioneer, one of the best around, and held on to that title forever.
You have a cool Matt Groening show on Netflix.
Yeah, I'm doing Disenchantment on Netflix with Matt Groening, and we got a whole lot of the Futurama gang back together. It's Billy West, Maurice LaMarche, Tress MacNeille, Dave Herman. It's a great show. It's a great story. It's a great universe to play in. The guys that create, and Matt, just working with Matt again, it's just the most wonderful thing ever. I never thought that by the time I was 50 years old, I'd appear on all 3 Matt Groening cartoons, let alone cartoons. I didn't even know I was going to be destined for this stuff, and it just kind of happened, and then it just kind of exploded. And I've been content and still working. And so I just, you just play the ball where it lies in your life and enjoy it.
Now I'm standing with
Matt Bell. I usually do Marty McFly, but obviously this is not a DeLorean.
So this is you out of costume.
This is me out of my costume. That's my regular Matt costume. So this is the Flintstones mobile. It's built on top of a go-kart. It runs and everything, and a lot of people love it, and that's why it's here for Rhode Island Comic Con.
So this is the famous car that Fred and Barney would drive in.
Yep, exactly. This time, but it's not like as old as like the old Stone Age, so you don't have to pedal. We have actually, it's futuristic,
Well, can I just take a quick
Yeah,
seat? All right, thank you very much. So again, this is what Fred and Barney and Wilma and Betty would drive in, but again, they would be pedaling with their feet, and this is great because it's an actual go-kart, and this is fantastic for people to come to Rhode Island Comic Con. They probably bring this to other conventions as well. So again, I feel like I'm Fred Flintstone. I'm now with Charlie Adler, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
A lot. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm having a good time.
Now, you're a prolific voice actor. How was it voicing Dr. Doom?
Nuts. He's nuts. I think very gratefully have voiced a lot of unwell people or beings or stains or anybody, but I think it might be obvious to the audience why. I think so. I love him. I love him. I love all my lunatics.
That Dr. Doom is such a different take on a more serious Dr. Doom.
Yeah. Okay, here's the story. So I get the audition, and I think it's serious. So I do a very sincere, serious audition, and they call me back. First of all, I'm doing it, I think the original audition, they wanted him to be Middle East, like Russian. So I do this thing, and I walk in. They say, Charlie, this is a comedy. I said, what? Well, write it funny. It wasn't funny. I took it seriously. Where was the laugh? Well, now just do it. Forget that he's Russian or whatever the hell he wanted. Forget that. Now just be funny. So that's what came of it.
You're also the iconic Buster Bunny in Tiny Toons Adventure. What was it like to be part of that such an iconic show?
Well, when you're doing something, you never think it's iconic. I mean, you're just going to work, for me. But it was exciting for two reasons. One, it was Steven Spielberg's entree into animation, so that had some cachet to it. That was very exciting. And then the cast was so thrilling. And then to work with one of my most beloved friends, Tress MacNeille, as Babs Bunny, was just a marriage made in heaven. So it was always wonderful to be with that. I loved that cast. I loved that cast. Tress, Cree Summer, Elmira, the funniest animated character that's ever been birthed is from Cree as Elmira. I hug you and squeeze you and kiss you and love you. And my God, I used to fall apart.
Can you do a little Buster Bunny?
Yeah, right away, Toots. Rub it in, Babs.
What is one of your other favorite roles?
I love cow. Oh, big blood, you.
I love her. And I love chicken, and I love the red guy.
And tell me about working on those Transformer movies.
Very interesting experience because we came in after they had almost completed the animation of it. What I saw was so thrilling, and we were on a soundstage, and the pictures were huge, and I'm looking at all this amazing, amazing work. Well, when you looked into the detail of it, it was thrilling. The artistry, what these guys created, was astonishing, just astonishing. But I loved it because Michael Bay, the director, was very collaborative and very playful and gave us a lot of free range and then had a good sense of humor about it. And then he would improvise a line or something, and it was great. That was a wonderful experience. And then to see it, as you're doing it, we usually animation, you do the voice first, then they animate to it.
Hi.
And finally, what are you currently working on?
I'm directing 4 different animated series. One is called Blaze and the Monster Machines, which I'm on season 5 of. I started season 1. One is Kung Fu Village for DreamWorks, which is coming in November 16th on Amazon Prime. That is the most thrilling cast I've ever worked with as a director.
Now I'm with Brian O'Halloran, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Well, first off, it's great to be back. The city of Providence has always been really, really great to hang out in, and so these guys here at Altered Reality putting on the Rhode Island Comic Con always do a great job. I was just with them earlier a couple of weeks ago out in Colorado Springs where we had a lot of fun. A lot of those guests have made it on the caravan, so to speak, and decided to do this as well. This is their crown jewel in their big crown of shows. So we're in a different location this time. They have us up here in the ballroom area, so it works in some ways, and I'm hoping it works in better ways than others. So the fans will enjoy the flow, I think, a lot more. So good to be here. It's good to see these familiar faces again, and good to see you again as always.
As you know, I'm a big fan of Clerks, and I was always curious about the looks of both Dante and Randall. You know, you're very well known for having your goatee. Now, I believe you had the goatee in the audition, and did Kevin like it with the look?
At first, he said no. We rehearsed for a month before we started filming, and a week before we were done, so we were a third week into rehearsals, he said, hey, do you mind shaving off the goatee? I'm thinking you should be clean-shaven. I'm like, oh, okay. Shave the goatee off, or Van Dyke if people want to get technical. Shave the Van Dyke off, and then went in the next night for rehearsal, and he's like, ooh, how fast do you think you can grow back that goatee? I'm like, whoa, that's my face, man. What are you saying? He goes, you look way too young when it's shaved. I'm like, all right. So I grew it back. So I went into it already having it, and then I'm glad I kept it, and it's a look I actually like.
And did Jeff always have that backwards hat?
That I don't know. I know he would wear the hat. So yeah, I would say he always did have the backwards hat. So that's something I think that he brought to the game, so to speak.
Could you tell us a little quick story about the flying car?
So Kevin Smith was commissioned, funny enough, by the Ford Motor Company to write an inspirational video and film a video to have at one of their big team kind of meetings, like a year round. Everybody flies up to Detroit and has this big team meeting where people are like, we're Ford, we're going to do great things, and here's an inspirational video to make that point. And so Kevin wrote this thing about Dante and Randall being caught in traffic, talking about why are we stuck in traffic all these years. You see the Jetsons and stuff. Why don't we have the flying car yet? And so the negotiation back and forth, Dante, what would you do to get the flying car? And I'm not going to spoil it. If you ever want to go on Google and Google, the flying car, Clerks style or whatever it is, watch it. It's pretty funny. It's also on the DVD extras of the Clerks X DVDs.
And I believe it's on Kevin Smith's YouTube as well.
Correct. It's a very funny story about that. So when Ford looked at just the script, they're like, whoa, this was a little too bawdy and audacious for them. So they said no. But Kevin enjoyed writing about this and wanted to do it so badly. He's like, well, hell with it. I'm going to make it as a short film, and then let's see if I could show it. And he found Jay Leno. He'd been going on to Jay Leno a few times that year. Went on to Jay Leno. Jay Leno at the time said, sure, bring it on board. And next thing you know, here we were screening it for America on Jay Leno. So technically, I can say I was on Jay Leno.
You were on The Tonight Show, absolutely.
I was on The Tonight Show. I was seen on The Tonight Show.
What's the scoop with Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
So the next movie that Kevin's doing is the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. This is November, and this is when we're starting to shoot. I've been contacted by Kevin's office. We're now in the stages of signing all the paperwork and getting the scripts out to people and ready to shoot. I know he just went on his Instagram and Twitter report to say that he just went through his medical for the insurance purposes, and he's a clean bill of health, ready to go film, and we're ready to go.
And how's it going to feel to be behind the Quick Stop again?
It'll be fun. It's a store that's the Quick Stop in Leonardo, New Jersey still exists. The woman who originally owned it back then still owns it today. So I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun getting back to that and having fun with Kevin and Jay and Bob and all those guys.
I'm now here with Jay and Silent Bob, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
It's a great time. It's my first time here. Me and Bob, we decided to come on out. Figure we'll see what we're going to do today, It's a great time over here. A lot of people dressed up, having a great time, drinking a couple beers and meeting some celebrities. Can't complain.
I'm not asking Bob any questions because I know the rules. You only speak when it's important.
Yeah, he's not that type of guy. He's more of a signaler. You gotta read his actions. Look at him.
Did you have a chance to see Mr. Dante Hicks, Brian O'Halloran?
Yes, we did. We actually were just there with him. It was a great time. A great guy, very sociable. Yeah, we took a couple pictures with them. It was great. It was awesome. We're gonna tag him in them, and hopefully we go viral. Wouldn't mind having a little exposure here.
now with Barry Bostwick, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
You know what? I've been here 3 hours, and I feel like I've been here 10 hours. And it's been so much fun.
Can you believe that Rocky Horror Picture Show is iconic and legendary, gets more and more popular with every passing year?
I think it's because it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Basically, it's rock and roll. It's really just a rock and roll concert, you know, with a little bit of sex and drugs thrown in. I think Rocky Horror Picture Show is a great movie. One of the reasons why it has been around for 43 years. It is colorful and bright and funny and witty and has created this whole subculture, you know, of fans, super fans, the kids who are the shadow casters, which I love all over the world, people who do the show in front of the movie, you know, and you out there who yell horrible things at me on screen, like I can hear you, which I can't, but I know what you're saying. I made clocks this week. I had nothing else to do at home, so I made all these Rocky Horror clocks. I've sold my underwear. I sign underwear, so if they've already gotten my underwear and they've got a signed picture and an album, clocks. The show here, Rhode Island, is all about clocks. My big thing is the time warp clock. I make a clock where I take a propane torch and I melt the record, see, and then it says time warp, and it's very clever.
And to go back to the clocks, the movie is timeless.
It is timeless. It is timeless. I always like to think that we should always do the time warp again and again and again.
Now, you worked with Michael J. Fox on Spin City. How was that experience?
Michael is one of the brightest, funniest kids I ever worked with. You know, I learned so much from him in terms of the genre of situation comedy. He's a master at it, and he was our executive producer, so he was responsible for casting all of us in it and keeping it still relevant for the 4 years he was in it. It was a time of my life.
And he's one of the most strongest people having that disability and still working to this day.
Yeah, still working to this day and still raising millions and millions of dollars for his foundation, you know, Michael J. Fox Parkinson Foundation. And the money's going to the right places, I think, because he's so bright and he really knows who is on the cutting edge in terms of research. I love the man. What can I say?
I'm curious about this. You played FDR. Talk about that experience.
I play FDR, and FDR, American Badass. Let's just put it this way. It's not historically accurate, all right? But it's one of the funniest movies I've ever been in. It took us 7 days to shoot. It was very improvisational. It's got a great supporting cast. Don't see it with your grandmother.
And you got Kevin Sorbo in the film.
Kevin playing Lincoln. Oh, yeah, Kevin and I, we have this wonderful scene on the roof of the White House where we're both stoned. That's just the nature of the movie.
I'm now here with Beauty and the Beast. How are you guys enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm very much enjoying it.
And how about you?
I am enjoying it immensely.
Well, first off, such a beautiful dress you're wearing. What occasions do you wear that beautiful dress?
Well, of course, I wore it when I first met the Beast, and we had our ballroom dance. And then I decided that it would be nice of us to get out of the castle and do something fun together, so we came here.
That's fantastic, and you're in your formal best.
Of course I am. It's always the best when my belle is around.
And now I'm with Samantha Smith, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
It's fantastic. It's getting better and better every hour that goes by.
Why do you think Supernatural is more and more popular than ever?
The fans, 100%. We wouldn't still be on the air if we didn't have this insanely devoted fandom that watches everything. And they ask me questions. They're like, well, what did you think about when this, and this happened? I'm like, when did that happen? And they know everything, and they're so loyal. And I can't tell you how many times a parent has brought their child, and the parent watched it from the beginning, and now their child is watching it, or I got my husband to watch it, or my aunt, or my mom, or my cousins. Like, it's sort of become this self-fulfilling group. It's insane.
14 years ago today.
Today! Oh my God. I didn't realize until about 15 minutes ago that I was like, oh my God.
Tell me what happened.
I got stabbed by a demon and stuck to a ceiling and set on fire. It was a really bad day.
Now, how do they shoot that?
On the floor, and then we had like flame bars on either side, and they had the camera over me, like pretending I was on this. They built a ceiling on the floor, essentially, and then they flipped it on the thing and put CGI and burned everything up. Oh, but they did make a wire mold of my body and set it on an actual ceiling.
Now, you must have thought you were done with the show.
Well, during the pilot, Eric Kripke said, we'll probably bring you back, like as a ghost or something. And they did. And then eventually actually brought me back to life, which was crazy. So there is no limit to what they will do. It surprises us. We read scripts still and we're like, oh, wow, oh, okay.
And how is it working with Jared and Jensen?
Very challenging. No, they're amazing. They are lovely and professional and really talented and sweet. And as long as they keep their practical jokes to everyone else, we're good.
And how long do you think Supernatural will go for?
At least one more season. So make it a nice round 15. I don't know if it'll go past that, but I think it's 15 for sure.
And now, I know you weren't in this episode, but how cool was it to see the Winchester boys with Scooby-Doo?
We knew that episode was coming. I had no idea it was going to be even as amazing as it was. I mean, we knew it would be great, but they just built so much into it. And I think Dean with an ascot wins. I think he wins. Like, he gets the Scooby-Doo trophy with the ascot.
Now I'm standing with some cosplayers, and who are you dressed up as?
I'm Princess Peach.
Princess Peach, and?
I'm Princess Rosalina.
And?
Princess Daisy.
Oh, wow. And those are beautiful dresses. What inspired you guys to dress up like these characters?
I've been playing Mario since I was a kid, so the nostalgia is a fun thing.
And how about you?
I just really like the character and the character design and space.
And why did you decide on each different character? Why did you pick this character?
Mostly because my friend was doing Princess Peach and she was like, let's do a group. And I was like, absolutely, yes. I love this character.
I'm with Tiny Lister, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
This is my fiance, Demi. So you with my fiance? I love Providence. I got my baby here with me. Dave and Vinny brought me here. I heard some of my best friends gonna be here. Ice-T and Coco, Ron Perlman, Mr. Danny Trejo.
You were amazing in The Dark Knight. And how was it shooting with Christopher Nolan?
It's amazing when you work with $20 million directors. My directors is like unbelievable. And to work with Chris Nolan, it was an amazing situation. And we shot it in I shot my stuff at Pinewood Studios in London.
You were face to face with Hulk Hogan. And it's iconic. What does it bring back to you?
Look at the word he used. He said iconic. You're talking to a black cat from Compton, California that's been blessed to work with icons. Hulk Hogan is an icon in wrestling. To work with the Hulk, it was a kid's dream. Because if you're going to work with somebody, work with the best. And Hulk was the best. I can't wait to see what the next chapter in my life is. Oh, we're doing a new Friday called The Last Damn Friday. Y'all get ready. Got a film come out with James Franco called The Long Home. Got one come out with Master P, Got the Hookup, and we're going to do Zootopia 2 with Disney. So we're going to have a pretty good year next year.
I'm now here with Dustin Rhodes, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
This is awesome. This is my first LA Comic Con, so huge. It's a zoo in here. My gosh, there's so many stars here, so much to do. Meeting everybody, it's a blast.
I've been loving your recent stuff on WWE. How enjoyable was it to do the Mixed Match Challenge with Mandy Rose?
Mandy is going to be a huge superstar. She already is. And it was very special for us because we both wear gold. And we had some good chemistry together, you know, and it was fun. It was funny, it was entertaining, a lot of fun. Hopefully I'll get to do it again someday.
And years ago you worked with Booker T and had some great skits with him. What was one of the most memorable skits with Booker T?
I think probably one of my favorite was the 7-Eleven skit. There was also a good one we did as I was the crocodile hunter. That one was fun. I probably deserved an Emmy for that. I loved it. That time spent with Booker was very special. It meant a lot to me.
Thank you so much for being here at Rhode Island Comic Con. I also want to, since you're standing here, I want to thank you for your father, Dusty Rhodes, and the legacy he left behind as well.
I appreciate that very much. He certainly did. He's my hero. He's a lot of people's hero. Follow your dreams. That's what the American Dream, Dustin Rhodes, was all about. And I'm doing that. My brother's doing it. So let's have some fun, man. Go capture something. Make something good of yourself.
I'm now with WWE legend, the Road Warrior Animal. How are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Bro, it's great to be back here on the East Coast, man. Rhode Island's a great wrestling hotbed, you know. And it's a great fan fest here, too, man. The Rhode Island Comic Con's kicking some serious butt.
Dustin Rhodes is here.
Yeah, man, Gold Dust.
Could you talk about a little bit working with Dustin?
I had Dustin's very first match. He was tag teaming up with Gene Anderson's boy. Back, you know, Gene Anderson, him and Ole Anderson were tag team champs, the Anderson Bros. And I knew he had a lot of talent from the very beginning. You know, you can just tell a guy that's got called the it factor in wrestling. You either got the it factor or you don't. And Dustin had the it factor. I look now at 30 years later, he's doing great.
Could you talk a little bit about working with Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yeah, man, I did a lot of stuff with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, you know, he was one of our partners. We wrestled up in Calgary against the Hart Foundation, you know, and I actually wrestled against him and Shawn Michaels, Hawk and I did. Great competitor, man, good athlete, with that old school mentality, which is also great for me because that's the way I am, you know, so it's a great guy to be a part of in the ring with, you know.
And when are we going to see you back in the WWE?
You know, man, if WWE was smart to have me come down there and run their tag team division, man, give that tag team division some credibility. Right now, their tag team division, I feel sorry for the guys. They got no leadership. You know, I mean, listen, don't be wrong. Triple H is doing great. NXT's doing good, and they're doing great business stuff, but they need someone to run the tag teams, man, and I'm your guy.
I'm now with Blade, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm always overwhelmed by the awesomeness of the show every year. It just seems like it's getting bigger and bigger and better, in my opinion.
Now, luckily, you can be inside, so the sunlight doesn't bother you.
Well, I'm a day walker, so sunlight doesn't bother me.
I'm glad you are. Who are you excited to see at this Comic-Con?
Well, the Iron Fist cast. I'm a big martial artist fan and martial artist myself, so Blade, movies, anything martial art based, I'm into. So I'm a fan of their, even though unfortunately the show isn't going to be on Netflix any further, but...
And you also do Luke Cage, speaking of Iron Fist.
Yes, I do. I actually have the hoodie here. It's in the building, but I just figured, you know what, being Blade is more of a martial artist, and that show's more martial art based. I said, you know what, and they're all Marvel characters, so I'm like, I think Blade would be a little bit more appropriate for them.
Can you show us your sword without hurting me? Ooh, wow. I'm now with Scott Hall, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Hey, yo. I'm loving it here. I always enjoyed coming to Providence. I love Rhode Island, Ocean State. The fans are great. It had a pretty good crowd here Friday just for, you know, opening day. I imagine tomorrow will be a mob scene. I'm really excited about it. I invite everybody to come out and check it out.
I'm now with pro wrestling legend Diamond Dallas Page. How are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
It's great. A lot of people here, and what's really interesting today, because of my Hall of Fame wrestling career at WWE, Devil's Rejects. I've done a bunch of movies, but that's the one I'm most noted for. Billy Ray Snapper, and of course DDP Yoga. All the people who are coming here are so gracious, they're so nice, but so many people are telling me how I helped not only change their life or maybe save their life, and you know, with my program.
So if somebody like me wants to get started in your DDP Yoga?
Well, you know, some people like DVDs. You know, we have all that on ddpyoga.com. But the main thing I like to keep people interactive with is the app. Like every Monday, you get a new Motivational Monday. Every one of them saved up there. So there's like 170 of them up there. And it really does help you get your mind on track. Because I always tell people, as important as the workout is, as important as the eating plan is, that's 10% of the equation. The 90%'s right here. It's that story you tell yourself. And I'm constantly helping people believe in themselves. So motivation, all workouts that start from a bed all the way to Psycho Extreme, and then cooking recipes. So it's super interactive. And the response I've gotten here has just been amazing.
You mentioned the Hall of Fame. How did it feel to be inducted in the WWE Hall of Fame?
People ask me all the time, what's your favorite moment in wrestling? And I've got a lot of them. The favorite moment would be when I got inducted, because I got to thank all the people who helped me get there. Because I didn't get there by myself. I got there through working my ass off and putting the work in. But bottom line is, it takes relationships. And I always tell people, it's really not about who you know or who knows you. It's about who's willing to say they know you, who's willing to put their name on the line for you. And that happened to me. I always say without Dusty Rhodes, there is no Diamond Dallas Page. You know, without Jake Snake Roberts, there's no 3-time world champion. Without the two of them, there's no Hall of Fame ring. And they helped me. And that's one of the reasons I was, you know, me and Dusty had an amazing relationship. His entire life with me was awesome. Like, I'm one of the family over there. And Jake, he really helped me at a different level. So that's where the love and the friendship comes from, the resurrection of Jake the Snake. And if you get a chance to see Jake, if he's coming up this area, you want to check his one-man show out. It's really good.
Cool. Thank you so much for talking to me and being here at the Rhode Island Comic Con.
It's been your pleasure. See ya. Bang!
I'm now with James Ellsworth, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
It's cold in here. Is it always like this in Rhode Island? It's freezing.
You recently came back to SmackDown and with Carmella. How was that experience?
Oh, any experience with Carmella is a great experience. Duh.
And you helped her win the Money in the Bank.
I didn't help her do anything. I stood on the apron. I didn't do anything. Just standing there.
Why didn't I see you climb a ladder?
That was the year before. And there are no rules in a Money in the Bank ladder match. So again, I didn't cheat.
Who else did you enjoy working with in WWE?
Alexa Bliss, Mickie James, Charlotte, Bayley. See, there's a trend here.
That's a good trend.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Love the ladies.
And tell me about the promotion you're in now.
I'm in a million promotions. I go all over the world, wrestling independent shows. I do WWE every now and then still. Just did Ring of Honor. I've done Impact. I'm all over the place. I'm everywhere, man. Everywhere.
So you're the T800. And I didn't know you hung out with the T1000.
College roommates.
College roommates. That explains everything. And how are you feeling? It looks like you got shot a couple times.
I feel great. I feel so fluid.
And who are you looking for?
I'm looking for this boy. Have you seen him? He goes by John Connor.
I'm now with Zach Galligan, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
So far, so good. Good crowd. The vibe seems to be good. Everyone seems to be happy, having a good time. So, yeah, feeling good.
And can you believe that Gremlins are still as popular as ever?
It's pretty amazing. I mean, I thought the movie would be popular at the time. If you had told me that 35 years later, people were still going to be queuing up for autographs and pictures with Gizmo and me and stuff like that, I would have told you were crazy. But it's just one of those really lucky things where, you know, you just stumble into a movie and the movie captures the popular imagination, and it's 3.5 decades, and here we are.
What's one of your favorite roles other than Gremlins?
Well, I do enjoy the waxwork movies that I did. Probably my favorite role is a television movie about teenage suicide called Surviving Family in Crisis with Molly Ringwald and Ellen Burstyn, Marsha Mason, and the late, great River Phoenix. That was a great cast and an amazing experience. It's probably the best thing I've ever done. So I really enjoyed that one.
And you worked with Bruce Campbell on the second Waxworks movie.
Bruce is great. I probably haven't seen him in about 10 years. I imagine he's the same. He is one of the only people I've met in real life who actually kind of looks like a cartoon character. I mean, that chin, like his book says, if chins could kill, that chin is just so amazing. You know, he's a great guy and a lot of fun to work with. Great sense of humor, good sport, and just it was a real pleasure.
What are you currently working on?
Just did the Jason Mewes directorial debut called Madness in the Method with Kevin Smith and Stan Lee and Judd Nelson and Casper Van Dien and Danny Trejo, Vinnie Jones and Terry Hatcher and a lot of other cool, interesting people. So Madness in the Method. Check it out next year.
I'm now with Michael Debar, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I just love it. You know, I've only done it once before. And when I say done it, that's like being a virgin or something. And it's true. You know, it's such a wonderful experience. I can't tell you how much I'm loving it. I'm not kidding at all. I'm not exaggerating. It's very humbling to have people look at you and say, you know, I loved you in this, I loved you in that. People come, and all my energy goes into them.
And what's one of your all-time favorite roles?
Murdoch in MacGyver. You know, I tried to kill him every season. For 9 episodes, or 9, 10, something like that, episodes. And it really struck a nerve. And you know what's interesting? The people that have come to see me today who love that character, who's a badass assassin, where I wanted to kill Richard Dean Anderson. Oh my God, you know, the beautiful Richard Dean Anderson, in couples. So therefore that character appealed to both men and women. The men because I was a badass with the guns and the weapons, and the women because it's, you know, it's sort of villainy and it's sexy and it's evil. You know, and it's amazing to get, you know, couples coming up. Girls, yeah, I understand that. But to people, you know, that are a couple that dig me for different reasons, that's like overwhelming.
Behind you is the cast of Batman the Animated Series, and you did an episode. How is it being part of the Batman world?
Well, it was really, I adore doing voiceover. I usually play the English villain. My people are alienated. I will destroy this planet. You know, everything's like hushed. So it's great. I'm doing a big video game right now. I can't even tell you what name it is. You know, the non-disclosure vibe. But I love doing voiceover. But I have to have the right lighting, otherwise it doesn't work. You know, but yeah, it's great, Batman. I mean, it's cultural phenomena, you know, and it's great to be part of that.
I'm now here with Han Solo and Princess Leia. How are you guys enjoying Rhode Island Comic-Con?
It's good. It's great.
How about you?
Yeah, pretty good so far.
Now, there's a lot of Star Wars people here. Why are they here?
Representing the 501st and the Rebel Legion, us specifically are with Alderaan Base, New England, and we've got a booth here, a bunch of props, really cool stuff.
Thank you so much for talking to me and being here at Rhode Island Comic-Con. And may the Force be with you. I'm now with Spencer Wilding, and how are you enjoying being at the Rhode Island Comic-Con?
Yeah, it's great. It's high up here, isn't it? He was just sore necker for a while, didn't it? Now I'm enjoying myself.
You're one of the tallest people I've interviewed. I think the only taller person I interviewed was Chewbacca.
So how is it for you?
I feel like I'm in a hole.
I feel like I'm on a box.
And how was your experience in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh my goodness. Guardians of the Galaxy is unbelievable. Have you seen it? It's brilliant. When I had my audition, I didn't actually audition for the Mean Blue Guard. Do you remember the guy they go, take it down to the showers. It'll be easier to clean up the blood down there. They asked me to do that first, but they went, nope, we'll go with the Mean Guard instead. So that was cool. And I didn't read too good when I was young, so I didn't know Guardians of the Galaxy. I've never heard of it. Sorry, but until I got the audition. And then, so when I got the audition, I remember it was a minute scene, right? And I said to my mum at the premiere, I said, listen, Mum, it's only a minute scene. She goes, oh, it's all right, son, you're in another film, you're doing all right, it's all right, don't worry about it. And so when the opening scene happened, and this is serious, when his mum's dying of cancer and dies, it affects us all. It affects us all of us, that one, right? But the Walkman was on his head, and I went, Mum, I know it's a minute scene, but it's going to be a really, really good scene. It's going to be amazing to smell it. So it just like changed it on the coin. It was awesome. But what an amazing film.
Could you tell me a little bit about that character?
Right. Shadow of War. It's a Warner Brothers game, Lord of the Rings. And the guys that made them, because this is obviously out of the computer game, but they used 4 actors with live makeups, right? And it was the same makeup team that did the trilogy of Lord of the Rings, the Orcs. So it was an amazing makeup. And an amazing director based in Neil Luxley. And it was just amazing. And we filmed in Ukraine. It was 26 below, right? The other 3 actors had bare skins on. They were like sweating. Me, painted blue skin. I had 10 girls with hair dryers trying to keep me, this is true, hair dryers trying to keep me warm. But you know, when you start shaking, that's it. It's like, you know, you're trying to keep warm. Or staying alive even. When I was out there for 26 below on the Black Sea, and it's 10 foot thick of ice.
You played so many iconic characters. Yeah. For Halloween, what do you dress up as?
Spencer Wilding, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Darth Vader.
I'm now with Stefan Kapasik, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
It's amazing. This is my second time that I'm in Providence, and well, this is definitely one of the best Comic Cons I've ever been, and I've been doing a lot of these. So people are so nice. There's like so many great actors, great artists, and it's really busy. There's a lot of people, man.
For people who might not recognize you with the beard and without metal skin, you are Colossus in Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2.
Well, you know, I'm a comic book geek, so for me, having a chance to play one of like the iconic X-Men is much more than just a role. It's I like to say sometimes it's like Academy Award for my inner child, you know, like, and it's like a medal, silver Oscar. So I'm enjoying every single moment of playing Colossus.
And you bring so much heart to the character as well.
Well, I'm giving my best. Like, I'm enjoying every second of building the character, you know, and working with Tim Miller and Ryan Reynolds in the first one, and then with Ryan Reynolds and David Leitch in the second one, you know, closely on making, like, you know, some new levels of Colossus was perfect. And I can't wait for, like, the new movies.
One part I absolutely loved in Deadpool 2 was Colossus's fight scene with the Juggernaut. How awesome was that to see the final product of?
As I said, I'm a comic book geek, so I always wanted to see Colossus going against Juggernaut. That's like an anthology fight. And, you know, being a part of that, come on. And I was screaming when I saw it first time on a screening. You know, I was screaming on a screening, which was kind of crazy, you know. Colossus versus Juggernaut. Come on.
And Ryan Reynolds was Juggernaut.
Yes, he was.
I can't believe it. I'm with the Power Rangers, but they sided with Lord... Wait, who are you? He is Lord Zed. I believe you're the villain from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Is that correct?
Identify yourself.
Oh, he's asking me to identify myself. My name is David. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
The sniveling attitude leads me to believe you will serve me well.
Well, how can I say no to him?
I have spoken.
I'm now with Jason David Frank, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to be here. I'm almost here every single year, and the fans, I tell you, are so appreciative, and I just love it. I love it here in Rhode Island. This is like my hometown con, even though I don't live here. But it's one of those things I've been doing for Steve for years, man. It's just so good to be here and see the fans grow and the excitement. And then, you know, we got Ice-T in the back. We got Murph from Impractical Jokers. I mean, giving you a lineup that I think no other Comic-Con has before.
You were recently back on Power Rangers with a whole group of your co-stars. How did that feel? And you also played 2 roles.
Yeah, no, it was great, man. I had a good time going back to the show and, you know, just seeing the older Rangers I worked with and some of the newer Power Rangers. So just being part of that franchise for 25 years and seeing, you know, the Green Ranger, White Ranger so present, it feels good because remember, I was part of this show before people believed in it, and I was part of the show in Dino Thunder when people gave up on it. So when you have someone who, you know, believed in it when no one believed in it, and then still there when people lost faith, and now I'm still here 25 years later. And I think that's the key, and that's the idea behind, I guess, the man behind the mask, sort of say. I've always been proud of who I was, and I don't care if I'm ever stereotyped because my fans deserve a superhero nowadays, and I feel like we lean on each other to keep each other accountable, and that's what's important, you know?
Any final words you'd like to say?
I always tell people, if you haven't got a chance to come to any Comic-Con, you can follow us on social media, JDFFFN. And the good thing about social media nowadays, even if you're at home and you can't make it to a Comic-Con, tune in. There's a lot of good things coming here at the Rhode Island and a lot of good things in store for next year. And I think when you guys see what's going to happen next year, your minds are going to be blown away.
I'm now standing with Elf, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Oh, this is the best Comic Con I've ever been to. Fantastic. You know, I was looking, I saw one person who kind of smelled a little bit like beef and cheese, and I got a little worried, but it was all good. Yeah.
And who is your favorite actor who ever played Santa Claus?
Oh, you know what? Artie from Howard Stern.
Artie Lang
is your Artie Lang. He played Santa Claus. Yes, definitely.
What about Ed Asner?
Ooh, I don't know Ed Asner as well, but he was no Artie.
I'm now with Kate Flannery, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Well, it's fantastic. Nobody's bought me a drink yet. Actually, somebody did offer to buy me a drink, but I couldn't. So how can I complain, right? It's fantastic. You guys are the best.
And obviously, for everybody who knows, because everybody watches the show, you're Meredith from The Office.
I am sometimes. I used to be. I still am. If you turn on the TV, yes, it's a beautiful thing. There's some great fans here, and it's exciting to be here. And New England fans, they don't pull any punches. So if they like you, they will tell you. If they don't like you, they will tell you. I like the clarity. I appreciate that.
On The Office, there was a lot of characters like Creed and Angela, Oscar. They had their real first names as their characters. Why is your first name was Meredith and not Kate?
There are a few of us that were just, I'm actually relieved that I'm Meredith and not Kate, because that way if somebody yells Meredith, I know I didn't go to grade school with them. So I'm not that much of a bag. I actually, if you know my name, maybe I'll know, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just saying, it keeps it clear.
There was a great episode. Michael hits Meredith with his car. Right. How did they do that?
Actually did my own stunt. We started on the hood of the car, and I rolled and hit the glass and rolled off on a giant pad. I didn't get stunt pay. Maybe I should have. I don't know. In retrospect.
What's one of your favorite episodes of The Office?
Moroccan Christmas. I love when Michael Scott drags Meredith into rehab. So fun to shoot. It's crazy.
What do you think the legacy of The Office is?
Right now, if you're stuck in the hospital, maybe you're in an accident, you're in the hospital and you don't have access to the remote, you might actually catch The Office now, because it's on like 12 hours a day on Comedy Central. It's nuts. So I don't know how long that's going to last, but I feel like people are still really tuning in on a regular basis. People say they fall asleep to us every night, but it's wonderful. And I love that there's a whole group of kids that just binge watch, and they seem to really connect to it. I'll always be proud of the show, and I'm just glad that other people are still digging it. Even if they didn't pay attention the first time, they're paying attention now.
Now, before The Office, and I think you're still doing it now, is your comedy troupe.
Yeah, I have a comedy duo called The Lampshades, and I also tour with Jane Lynch. We do a live show, because we did a Christmas album 2 years ago, and we just did a show in New York in September. And yeah, we're actually about to do a big national tour of our Christmas album. But it's funny, too. It's kind of like the Rat Pack, but with a couple of broads. That makes any sense.
Thank you so much for talking to me and being here at the Rhode Island Comic Con.
Can I give my Rhode Island accent? Your turkey is your state bird, huh?
I'm now with Creed Bratton, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm enjoying it so much. Thanks for asking.
On The Office, how did your full name become your character's name?
That was Greg Daniels' call. He, of course, we all know I was in the group, The Grassroots, so he was going to utilize my musical talents. We did, but we didn't get to show them mostly in deleted scenes. I think Spinning and Reelin' was on there. The Booze Cruise, that was deleted scenes, but then I got to play it on the finale, my guitar, All the Faces, which I wrote right after I left the Grassroots. People love that song, so that's a good thing.
Did you like how your character in the finale became missing in action?
Oh God, yes, it was great. It was great because he was hiding in Ryan's, the temp's old room, in the closet there, living there, escaping from the law, like Creed does.
And what was one of your favorite Creed moments?
The Booze Cruise, getting to play guitar, the finale, when I got to be the manager, that was a lot of fun.
And now you mentioned being in the Grassroots. Looking back, what does being in that band mean to you?
Well, I was there in the Summer of Love, the 60s, and that was like the harbinger of all this that's going on. It went dormant for a while, but it seems like it's coming back again.
And finally, you're still on tour, right?
I am. I'm touring all the time. I have an album out called While the Young Punks Dance, which is my 7th solo album, and I'm working on my 8th album in LA at the moment while we speak.
I'm now here with Miss Marvel, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I'm loving it. It's a lot of fun.
What inspired you to dress as Miss Marvel?
She's brown like me, whereas I'm Indian and she's supposed to be from Pakistan and Muslim. At least there's diversity. At least there's a character that does look like me. And I recently did sit in on a panel at New York Comic Con with the creator. So it was really fun to just kind of see how women in comics and diversity in comics is becoming a big thing, and it is really important. See all these little girls dressing up in superheroes and stuff. It's great.
Now I'm standing with
Agent Hex.
And what did you bring to Rhode Island Comic Con?
I brought our Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. We are Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. New England. We work with charity organizations like Autism Speaks and DV Farm, helping homeless vets get homes and also getting them back into the workforce. We brought our truck with us. It drove all the way up from Connecticut from our director's house. We also have our props, which include 2 M16s and a grenade launcher, and also our own Tesseract and Infinity Glove.
That's outstanding.
Thank you very much. We also have a Tesseract. Officially, Thor brought it home, but he doesn't know we made a fake. This doesn't get broadcast on Asgard, does it?
No, it doesn't. Like, the Wi-Fi is bad on the Rainbow Bridge. I'm now with Bai Ling, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
I love this. So much fun. Yesterday I danced a lot. So I love the after party. But mostly I enjoy it because I never been here. I heard it's the biggest one here. So many fans come here. So many people dressed up. Just joyful event. I just love traveling. I love Rhode Island. Today is sunny. Yesterday was rainy. It's just beautiful magic city and magic Comic Con.
Could you talk a little bit about working on Wild Wild West?
Yeah, the funny part, because Will Smith, we don't know each other, but the thing we have to kiss each other. I was the one initiated. I was like, wow, he's a big star. I said, can I do anything I want? He said, do anything you want. So the first I was touching him, kissing him. It's very mischievous kind of a mindset, because in real life, when you don't know somebody, you don't kiss them, but I would just kiss him. It's kind of fun. In the film, transform the things you're forbidden in real life, you do it. So that's the memory I have for Wild Wild West with Will Smith, because I'm the one just seducing. It's fun.
Could you talk a little bit about your role in Star Wars?
It's very, very special because I went to MTV Music Award. During the break, it was commercial. I kind of get bored. It's a long break. I went to the green room and just wait on the line getting food. I was wait. Suddenly I realized the person in front of me was George Lucas. I was like, oh my God. I was like, what should I say? What should I do? I say, George Lucas just walking from there towards to me. And he come there. I was so excited. I said, George, I said, wow, if I was ever in Star Wars, that would be dream become true. I would say, maybe I do a choreographer, fighting, all of that. I was so nervous. When I talk about it, I said, he said, you're a good actress. I said, you know me? He saw me in the red corner. I was like, wow. So after I talked about it, I left. I was so nervous. 2 weeks later, I got a call, and they want to fly me to Australia to shoot. My agent was like, how did you know? Because you can't have a meeting with him. So the script I have to directly ship to my home. I go to Warner. I said, what role? Nobody knows. So it's kind of mystery. So I flew there. He told me to lunch. It was very, very nice. So it was a gift. I asked him, I said, on set, I said, George, what do you want me to do? He said, do whatever you like.
And what are you currently working on?
Oh, I have so many movies. I just finished 2 movies. I got another 2 offers. If you follow me at I Am Biting Instagram, you see all the cookies, fat-free, sugar-free cookie, and all the movie I've done and update of everything. So a real Biling on Twitter or official Biling on Facebook, you'll find me.
Now I'm standing with
Keith Hughes.
And who do you have with you?
This is Alessandra Hughes, and this is Raiden Trainer.
Fantastic. And could you tell us a little bit about her costume?
Her costume was made for Halloween. It was made by Andrea Palmer, who was an art teacher at Hadley Luzerne School in upstate New York. She's a friend of my wife's, who's also a teacher at Hadley Luzerne, Mandy Hughes. This is newspaper, masking tape, and moldable plastic that we got off eBay, and the rest of it is coat hangers. And this is a red bodysuit with black paint splotched all over it.
And what character is she?
She's the Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
Wow, that is fantastic. You look great. And you're dressed like a Harry Potter character?
Yeah.
That's great. Nice and easy for you, though.
Yeah.
Because at least you can talk.
Yeah.
I'm now with Danny Trejo, and how are you enjoying Rhode Island Comic Con?
Awesome, beautiful, man. I love people from Rhode Island are awesome. People from all over the East Coast have been here, so it's been really, really great.
One of the things I first knew you from was in the Spy Kid movies. What's the most memorable moment working on those films?
Daryl and Alexa, they're like awesome. They're like awesome kids. Really, really great representatives of Hollywood.
Did you enjoy working with Ricardo Montalban?
Oh, man, he was awesome. Yeah, he was cool. Ricardo had been in an accident, so Robert wrote that part as him in a wheelchair because he was in a wheelchair. So it worked out really, Robert's a genius, and Rodriguez is just an absolute genius when it comes to movie making. And I said that, Robert, so let's do Machete 3.
Why is he one of your favorite directors to work with?
Well, it's like a family affair. He's a real fan of movies. So that means he just loves what he's doing. So he loves to see the creativity and he loves to see his dream coming. It's in a great mood all the time.
When you were doing the Machete movies, which actor were you the most surprised to work with?
All of them. We killed Steven Seagal in that. I got to work with Michelle Rodriguez, and Jessica Alba and Amber Heard. Some of the most beautiful women in the world. So that was cool. And It was an amazing trip.
Final question, what would you like to promote and what are you currently working on?
Right now I did a movie called Granddaddy Daycare. I'm getting ready to do the movie Dora the Explorer, and I'm going to be Boots, her little buddy. And I started a record company called Trejo's Music. We're getting ready to drop an album called Chicano Soul Shop Volume 1.
Well, that was the 2018 Rhode Island Comic Con, and as you can tell, it's an amazing event. It keeps getting bigger and bigger each year, and as you can tell with all the special guests, some of them who are behind me. Well, I hope you come next year. My name is David Ciccariella. Thanks for watching.